Oh yay! Let's get started. Hola, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope all is well. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I'm about to see if I can hear myself. Let's see. Can I hear myself? Are my speakers connected for me to hear myself? Hmm. Are my speakers connected for me to hear myself? It's connected for me to hear myself. I just want to make sure I can hear myself. Well, I want to make sure y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Mm. Okay, y'all can hear me, and that's all that matters. I just wanted to make sure. So, I'm Unika Monet, and I'm here for your daily planetary forecast for January 4th, 2021. How y'all feeling today? I feel pretty good. I actually feel pretty productive today. Like I'm ready to get some things done, despite what the weather's trying to do. It's another night day, another dark day out here. Dark days make me tired. Hey, Charles. Dark days make me tired, but let's get to it. First and foremost, we're going to start off with the sun. You know that the sun is in Capricorn in the fifth house. This morning at 12 a.m., the Capricorn, I can't speak. I'm tongue tied a little bit. Hold on, excuse me. Bring it back. But this morning at 12 a.m., the sun was in Capricorn in the fifth house at 14 degrees, 1 latitude. And then tonight at 11:59 p.m., the sun will still be in Capricorn in the fifth house at 15 degrees, 2 latitude. So we're not really moving too much. We're only moving about 1 degree. The sunrise this morning was at 8:21 a.m. and the sun will be setting this evening at 5:48 p.m. So we're getting a few more minutes, and that's fun. Look at us getting more minutes of the sun. But the sun rules your ego, your self purpose, your self esteem, your masculine energy, how you deal with your own masculine energy, how you deal with the masculine energy and other people around you, and things of that nature. And so the fifth house deals with children, creativity, and romance. It's centered around that Leo energy, so that Leo, that passion and energy, confidence, coming forth and getting those things done and being in charge with it, evolve around me kind of energy. So, and it's also rooted in discipline, reserve. So, right now, you might be dealing with just that. Your mind is all about revamping your self infrastructure, the discipline that you set for yourself, some restrictions, facing some challenges and some fears alongside your journey. And that's where your ego is lying in right now. Right now, your ego may be either fragile and vulnerable right now because you're dealing with these things and you don't feel like you're winning, you don't feel like you're beating them. You may feel like they're beating you and things are happening to you, and you might be in the house with the news on just like under your blanket. um and that's you not really taking charge and engaging in the Capricorn energy that's going on right now. You don't have to be a Capricorn to engage in Capricorn energy. That's a misconception that a lot of people have, especially with my planetary forecast. You do not have to do that. You could be any sign and still tap into this Capricorn energy that's going on right now. You just find out how it aligns with your own energy. And the best way to do that is to find more information on your natal chart. And I also help people do that if you're interested, to help get that done for you. But yeah, so we're tapped into that Leo energy with our masculine energy and our self esteem. And it's rooted in that discipline energy of Capricorn energy, right? It's rooted in creating that infrastructure for yourself. So right now, yeah, that's definitely what we're doing. And you may find yourself becoming, Capricorn energy has a tendency to make one become narrow minded in pursuit of manifestation. So be mindful of that narrow-mindedness. Be mindful of becoming shrewd and a little bit arrogant on your pursuit, especially as you start to achieve some things and it starts to get to your head a little bit. Just be mindful of that kind of energy as well, and also be mindful about like lack of humor, or like the kind of humor you may engage in. Just be mindful that it's not like crude or mean or anything of that nature. Moving on, the moon. The moon is all about your intuition, your inner self, your emotions, as well as your feminine energy. And in terms of feminine energy, it's like how you interact with your own feminine energy, the feminine energy in others, and so on and so forth. With the moon right now is at 15 degrees. Well, this morning at 12 a.m. we started the day 15 degrees, 12 latitude in Virgo in the first house. We will be ending the evening at 11:59 p.m. at 29 degrees, 1 latitude in Virgo, and we're moving into the second house. The moon will be rising at 11:47 p.m. and will be setting at 12:07 p.m. So we have a late moon. You'll be seeing the moon tomorrow in the morning when you guys look out. Yes. And so with the first house is a strong influence house. It's all about your outer appearance, your goals, and your projects. And if that was in the Virgo energy of being organized, hey, that's in the rooted in that Virgo energy of being organized and analytical and judgmental, like seeing what's what and what's supposed to be where. And also some that's also earth energy. So it's all about the pentacles and rooted in materialism as well. So you may have felt yourself wanting to get things done, rooting your ego in that materialism again. So even though the sun and moon aren't directly in the same signs, we have that earth energy of Capricorn, we have that earth energy of Virgo, both working hand in hand and pushing you to go towards getting some goals done, getting some things done, organizing it. We have that cardinal energy of Capricorn telling you to get it done. And then we have that adaptable energy, mutable energy of Virgo saying, well, we can get it done this way or that way or any way in between. But either way, the sun and moon is working together to get it done. And the fifth house that the sun is in, that Leo energy is working on your confidence in getting it done. And this first house that this Virgo energy is working on your appearance and how you look on other people and how you're influencing other people. So you may find yourself tapping into that kind of energy with other people today, and that's fun. And then with the Virgo moving into the second house deals with your finances and your possessions, as well as things you find yourself attracted to or finding pleasure in. Hey, how y'all doing, guys? I'm doing the daily planetary forecast. As well as your resources of self-esteem. So now we're tapping into the Taurus energy. Again, another earth energy. We then tapped into all three energies and we're only into the sun and the moon. And we then tapped into all three earth energies. So we're definitely getting some things manifested. We're definitely bringing the pinnacles into motion. It's all about getting some goals settled, getting some goals set up, and taking the initiative in this energy, especially with us entering Aquarius energy in addition to all the earth energy we're entering simultaneously. And this also is the second house also deals with our resources of self esteem. So while our ego is being derived in us getting these goals and objectives done, and we are doing that, a lot of people are like, okay, so we see that in the sun and the stars, and so what? Like, of course we do that. Of course, it's New Year's. That's what we do, and that's the point. The point is to shed light on the fact that we're innately doing these things. We're already mentally, subconsciously doing these things that are above. That's the whole point, is to just shed light on things that we're already doing that we don't even think about and we don't put one and one in. But if you put one and one in, it'll bring like a certain level of peace to what it is that you're doing. Moving on. Mercury is the planet of logic and communication, how you learn, how you teach, what your logic is rooted in, how you think, and your method of thinking. Like, is it A plus B, or are you all about this algebra and adding one, two, three in between? So Mercury started off the day at 12 a.m. at 22 degrees, 53 latitude in Capricorn in the fifth house. And we will be ending the evening at 11:59 p.m. at 24 degrees, 31 latitude, still in Capricorn, still in the fifth house. So we don't really move too much. We are moving on. It seems like maybe in a few days or so, we'll probably be entering in a new zodiac energy with Mercury. As you know, once you reach that 30-degree point, we're moving on into the next zodiac energy. So it seems like we're getting there. We're getting to the Aquarius energy with Mercury, but right now we're still rooted in authority and taking initiative in our conversations and having constructive conversations, right? Capricorn energy is all about challenges and fears and taking leadership and all about infrastructure and taking power into things, yeah. So right now we've really been taking talks about law and authority and rebuilding infrastructure, and not just on a government level, but also on ourselves in our homes, right? As we have, gotten adapted to the homeschooling thing, and as we're starting to adapt to with the news and the government, and everybody's living in their own reality and their own interpretations of those things, but it's starting to make a shift in how we are treating our home, how we are treating, the things, our nurturing spaces, our workspaces, and things of that nature. So that's always cool. Moving on to the next. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Venus. Venus, we start off the day at 12 a.m. at 24 degrees, 22 latitude in Sagittarius in the fourth house. Tonight at 11:59 p.m. we'll be ending the day at 25 degrees, 37 latitude in Sagittarius, still in the fifth house. So again, we still don't move too much. This is another planet that's pretty much taking its time and its fine, but we are slowly getting to the end of the zodiac energy and moving into the next, probably towards the weekend, we'll be shifting into new zodiac energies with Mercury and Venus. If you guys want to know exactly when we move into those energies, you guys can always go to my YouTube page, Let's Nobodies, and check out the full Capricorn 2021 season forecast. And I talk about all the planets as a whole during the zodiac season. And you can speed up and get some cheats and some spoilers, but I'm not going to give them to you here. We're going to go day by day so you guys can get accustomed to hearing how the planets move and getting in tune with the electromagnetic energy of the planets, the zodiac energies, and the houses, so that you can understand daily horoscopes and how to apply them to your natal chart and the natal chart of others if you care to become a educator or a spiritual provider, a healer, and so on and so forth. I have no problem with sharing information. This is what I'm going to utilize my platform for, to share this information so that more people can tap into this Neptune and Pisces energy. And if you're like, what's Neptune and Pisces energy? Hold on, I'm going to get to that in a minute. We're going to move on to, we're in Venus and Sagittarius energy in the fourth house right now, right? So Venus is all about love and wealth and finances. It's all about what you're attracted to, what you find pleasure in. And when we find things that we're attracted to and we find pleasure in, it boosts our self-esteem, right? When we find those things and we're able to indulge and obtain and maintain those things, it makes us feel good about ourselves, right? So that's what this Venus energy is all about. And right now it's sitting in the fourth house, which deals with your home and your family and how you're investing in your nurturing spaces. So right now our self-esteem is being rooted in how we've invested in our nurturing spaces, right? We are we are invested in our nurturing spaces. We are finding pride in how we're going about maybe the homeschooling situation, how we're going about our adaptation in our homes to what's going on. So we're starting to, and some of us are even building nurturing spaces for each other and ourselves, and that's cool too. And so Venus is in that Sagittarius energy, which brings us to expand how we think of these nurturing spaces, how we're treating these nurturing spaces, what they look like, what they are, how they're being built, what their foundation consists of. We're changing all of that with this optimistic, this expanding Sagittarius energy, because Sagittarius energy is all about opportunities. It's all about expanding your philosophy and your perspectives and going the next step and being adventurous. But it can also come with some impatient energy. So if you find yourself feeling a sense of nervousness or overwhelming energy, or maybe a little bit of anxiety when it comes to building certain things, and you're like, well, is this a bad feeling, or is this that, or is this is just your your impatience kicking in, that fire energy of that Sagittarius energy kicking in, because it really wants what you're going for. It's a yearning that, you're on the path, whatever it is that you're doing. It in regards of creating nurturing space for other people, whether it be older people, adults, homeless people, children, whatever route you're going, and saying, hey, now it's time to build this. Like, I'll give you guys an example. Like, in my personal life, I can resonate with this because in my personal life, I'm on the path of joining a temple and things of that nature. And I found that I was aligned with this brother who's very in tune and very sound minded. And that's what enticed me to join the temple. And with doing that is aligning to be able to educate children in this temple, to be able to revamp some of the energy and bring some younger people to gain a greater knowledge of self and self and others, and revamp how it's being, how the information is being given, so that the information can be received differently and not be received in such a my guard up first, because I know what the stereotype of you are, or I've met that aggressive energy. So that's a beautiful thing, and that's where we're going with that. And that's creating a nurturing space, right? Creating a nurturing space for other people of our walks that are already on the path to come and be able to congregate, but also creating a nurturing space for people who don't know, who need to know, who and don't know they need to know yet, and just so happen to become aligned, you know, ironically, one day on our path. So that's what Venus is calling us to do, to expand how we're going about obtaining finances, obtaining what we're attracted to and we find pleasure in, what our self esteem is rooted in. It's calling us to shake it up a little bit and just take your time. Take your time. And tonight, Venus will actually be moving from the fourth house to the fifth house. So we're moving from the home and family energy in the nurturing spaces. And the end of tonight will be rooted in that Leo energy, having confidence in being creative and tapping into our inner child or the inner children and the people around us, or literally children. Um, as well as engaging in romance, but doing all of this with that confident Leo energy, that take charge and get it done, and my way, highway, sun or walk. I'm the sun energy. So definitely, when you feel yourself starting to take charge in your business and how you're obtaining your wealth in this space and how you're obtaining love in this space, that's definitely like that Venus coming through in that fire energy. And it's double fire energy because you have Sagittarius and you have Leo, and you just got Venus just burning up. So your Venus probably burning up right now. It's all right because it's still like cuffing season. We still like cold outside. Everybody's feet still cold, so that's cool. And it's all about that bag too. As everybody has their New Year's resolution, everybody got their own ways of organizing and planning ways to get that bag. So that's another way, you could say as above, so is below. 'Tis the season to get that bag. So moving on to Mars. Mars, we started off the day at 12 a.m. at 28 degrees, 44 latitude in Aries in the ninth house. And tonight we will be ending the day at 29 degrees, 12 latitude in Aries in the ninth house. And Mars is your source of motivation, where you get your energy from. What makes you angry? Hey, how you doing? What makes you angry? What gets you aggressive? Just what gets you going? What energizes you? And the ninth house is that Sagittarius energy. Again, we're coming with that double fire because Mars, we know, is associated with Aries, and that's fire energy, root chakra energy. And then we have the ninth house, which is the Sagittarius energy, another fire energy. And this is about philosophy, your perspectives, traveling, and higher education. And then you have it sitting in Aries, another fire. So we got three fire energies just chilling and firing up. And Aries is just, once again, the energy of ambition and motivation and getting things done. And with all of these three fire energies, just, this is just like a big ball of fire going on right now in this space. Just be mindful of being quick tempered. Be mindful of your patience during this time. You may feel like eager to the point where you're like, all right, I'm not going to get done what I'm supposed to get done because I feel like it's not to my schedule, or it's not to when I want it done, and just be careful with that because there is a lot of fire energy going on right now. Whereas even though the sun is in Earth and we do have Earth stuff going on, we have obviously a lot of fire going on. And Aquarius, we know, is air energy, and what does air do to fire? Makes it bigger. So just be mindful of your temper. Be mindful of your patience. Take your time. A lot of us are like running into the New Year's and we feel like we're in a race and, oh, I gotta get it done. I gotta get it done. I gotta get it done. Everybody feels like they're in different races. Some are in different races with different cultures. Some people feel like they're in a race with whatever the government's going to do, whatever money's going to do, whatever, God is going to do, whatever this virus is going to do. Everybody feels like they're in a race with something. And that's just like all this fire energy being blown with the air, and just be mindful of it all because, yeah, come back to yourself, be grounded, take a deep breath, and take your time. It is a marathon, not a sprint, whether in this universe or the next. Ashe. Ashe. Definitely want to be chill. Like, I gotta hurry up and get this done by this date because you don't even know why you gotta get it done by that date if you keep it 1,000 with yourself. So Jupiter, this morning at 12 a.m., we started off the day at 3 degrees 30 latitude in Aquarius in the 6th house. And tonight we'll be ending the day at 3 degrees 44 latitude in Aquarius in the 6th house. So still, again, we're not really moving much. Jupiter doesn't move much. Jupiter takes about a year to go into the next zodiac energy. Like we spent last year in Capricorn energy, right? And you guys remember around December 17th, 18th, Jupiter and Saturn finally moved into Aquarius after being in Capricorn for about a year. So we have this energy and it's still fresh in Aquarius energy of being adventurous and social and rebellious and optimistic. And Jupiter is all about generosity and law and luck and traditions and wisdom. And the 6th house is associated with your daily routine and your health and your wellness, pretty much that Virgo energy. So you have this energy of wisdom and tradition sitting in that zodiac energy of being rebellious and also being social. And we do see that going on, right? Because doesn't our traditional law, what we usually hold traditionally as authority, aren't they telling us, hey, don't do this, don't do that? And don't you see us being social and rebellious anyway, right? As above, so is below. And then you still see us being optimistic. There's still, whereas I'm not saying everyone, some people are still looking like, hey, you guys are doing too much. And even sometimes I'll be like, hey, you guys are doing too much. Like, but that's just with anything. Like, it's cold season, it's flu season, it's journey season. That's a kindergarten. Like, for me, it's common sense things that I was just raised up in the name of cleanliness and common sense. But coming into the forefront of life, we're learning that a lot of people don't have the traditional common sense that we all have either, right? And so with us coming into that ideal, some of us are like, maybe the things that I thought was common sense maybe isn't sensible at all. Maybe some of us are thinking, well, maybe my common sense needs to be everybody's sense. So, a lot of us are coming into this space and place where we're shaking up traditions, we're shaking up, the people that we're usually coming to for information and coming to tell us where to go and what to do and what to be. We're also shaking up how generous we are to each other. We see a new coming of people that's saying, hey, we need to change the way we exchange things. We need to change the way we interact with each other altogether. Our mindset not right. So we have that coming into play as well. We just have a lot of different energies and spirits coming into play and doing different spaces and creating different energies where they come into play. And no one is right than the other. A head is a head and a toe is a toe. So it's just different spaces and different places, and it all works because at the end of the day, if you can be idealistic about it and say that all of these systems are going to remain. But the fact that we have all of these rebellious Aquarius type energies coming into all of these systems is going to slowly change the culture of all the systems simultaneously. So whether you want to stay in this space and place and engage in this system or engage in that line of work or engage in this social setting, they're all slowly being revamped to a certain level to where they're, I guess, you could say they're all reaching a certain level of evolution at the same time. So it's okay no matter what path you choose. No one is right and no one is wrong. They all like there's a space and place for everything. Moving on, Saturn. Ooh, why am I lagging like this? All I'm saying is StreamYard is being rude to me on hello. Ashe. StreamYard is being rude to me on Facebook and I don't appreciate it. Moving on to Saturn. So today we start the day off at 1 degree 58 latitude in Aquarius in the sixth house, and tonight we'll be ending the day at 2 degrees 6 latitude Aquarius in sixth house. So this year Jupiter and Saturn will essentially be about a degree apart, a degree or two apart from one another, but essentially about a degree. Last year they were about 2 degrees apart from each other, so they seem to be getting closer and closer every year. Um, Saturn again is dealing with restrictions and boundaries and self-disciplines and authority. So Saturn is pretty much the heavier version of Jupiter. Jupiter is a little bit more lighthearted and in the oppression, and then Saturn follows up with the heavy hand. I say nice cop, RoboCop type thing going on. But they're both still sitting in that social rebellious energy, and we see that going on, right? We see us, still rebelling against the fluff of tradition in our life, the things that are asinine, like, maybe there's nothing super harmful about these holidays, but it kind of is. So we're about to shake it up and stop celebrating these things and stop indulging in these things. But then also when it comes to law and things like that, we're not engaging in that at all. So there's a lot of that going on in both ways, and that's pretty dope. I appreciate that. And all of it is directed towards our health and our wellness and our daily routine. So that's exciting. We're definitely changing how we do things on a daily basis, how we interact with each other on a daily basis. And like I said before, like we really have to come together and sit down and say the way we're interacting with each other, it needs to change. And we're shaking it up on all different systems, on all different organizations at the same time. Whether you want to wear a suit and tie or you want to wear painting clothes, whichever route you want to choose, or you want to wear farmer clothes, whatever route you want to choose, everything is being evolutionized. Is that a word? Did I just make that up? Can we coin that? Can we put that in a dictionary? They love to celebrate everything. Yes, they do. And I had to talk about this, like how we like to, because we lack law, and because we lack like righteous discipline, we have a tendency of walking into spaces and places where there is strict law and strict discipline and saying, hey, you guys can't have all that law and all that discipline over there because y'all not doing what I want to do. And I feel like because y'all not doing what I want to do, y'all not accepting me and what I want, so y'all gotta switch this up, and that's not right. And I say that about a lot of things. Like I feel like a head is a head, is a toe is a toe. I say that all the time. And I remember in college, one thing I appreciated was that we all had to take personality tests, and the school would intentionally put us in dorm rooms with people that were completely different from us. So like I had a I had a Christian roommate, I had a Muslim roommate, I had a Hindu roommate, I had an atheist roommate, I'm Methodist. Like it was 5 of us and we all were just different. And if that's just in one room, so imagine the entire floor. When we all went to our floor meetings and we sat in that floor meeting room, whatever. So like one day we had that conversation where we were talking about our religions and stuff like that. And essentially when you get to it, when you take the radicalism out aside from it, it's like we all want peace. We all want peace. We all see God. We all see God in everything. And we all have a certain kind of discipline to acknowledge the fact that we see God in everything. And that's that. And it's just specific to your culture and what you like to do and what kind of plants and animals and language you speak and what kind of music and colors and stuff y'all like over there. But essentially that's what it is. And so to say that one is better than the other one or one's going to get it done and the other one's not, I think is unfair. And to walk into somebody's discipline and say, I don't like the way y'all discipline. So, like, I think y'all should switch it up because I want to be here and it doesn't fit me. I think that's very selfish. And you should say, you should be in control of the God in you and say, all right, I'm going to create my own discipline because I don't see any disciplines that fit me. Instead of trying to go in and revamp one to your liking and, being ignorant in that sense. I don't, and that's just how I feel about things in the different walks of life that I take. Whether I agree with the discipline you choose or not is not my problem because I'm on my own journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm true to my discipline and discipline I see true, and that's good enough for me. That's where my self esteem lies. My Venus is in Virgo, so my self esteem does lie in my organization and my structure and I have discipline. So yeah, that's how, in a nutshell, that's how you interpret the stars and the planets and the zodiac energies, and that's how we're interpreting Jupiter and Saturn. We are switching up our daily routine and our health, how we treat our health and how we treat our wellness, and we're definitely doing that. We're switching up the way we eat. We're starting to learn about well, I mean, some of us have been on the path longer than others. Some of us needed this catalyst of COVID to get in tune with our health and things that we needed to do. So some of us are new to getting on the path of, you read my mind. I was just about to say something about being vegan, but you beat me to the punch, my love. Yes, about being vegan. So I was vegan for about 4 years, and that was 3 years ago. That was while I was pregnant with my youngest son and his first couple years of life. We all were vegan in my home because what I cook, everybody eats. And so, I stopped. It wasn't anything intentional. It was just kind of like me being courteous. Like when I go to people's houses and they're like, well, I made chicken or I made fish. And I'm like, all right, I eat it or whatever. Or sometimes I'm out and whatever, I eat chicken or fish and stuff like that. But then it got to the point where I was just like, all right, this is regular life. I'm eating chicken and fish. But I still got in my head, like, I'm only going to eat it a couple times a week. So now during the month of December, it kind of came naturally. I went to the artist retreat. I do an artist retreat every 6 months. So I went to the one in December, and I just noticed that whole weekend that I didn't eat any meat. In fact, I didn't eat any meat the last week of November up until that artist retreat, which is the first weekend of December. So I'm like, let's just keep this going. Fuck it. So now I'm in January and I haven't had any meat since November, and I feel myself slowly just wanting to get back into veganism. Like, I don't want to eat eggs anymore. Granted, I'd be lying if I said I don't cook things with eggs, but to just sit and eat an egg and stuff like that, I'm not beat. And I still use butter. So it's just like dairy like products and stuff like that. I'm in the process of moving out of my diet. But that's it. Like everything else was just like, I don't really want to eat any chicken. And to be honest, the last few times I had chicken, I was so turned off. It was nasty, and it was also the action of like biting into it and chewing it. I was just so turned off. I was like, why? Ugh. And then I don't really have a beef with fish. I fucking love fish. I was craving fucking sushi and salmon for the longest. But now I'm just like, whatever it is, what it is, like that's what I'm gonna do. I had to fight the animal in me, but now I'm free. Sound, word, and power. Ashe. That's what's up. Like, yeah, it's all about the mind. It's all about the power of sound, right? Because we're a part of this universe, and that's one sound. So if you can make the sounds and get it right, then you can manifest it. Because we are all gods. We are all, we all can manifest things. If you could say it out loud, you can get it done. It's just that we believe, what happens is we believe in the power, the God in other people over the God in us. That's what happens. Is like you take the God in your boss and you feel like the God in your boss is way higher than the God in you because something taught you that that's authority, and whatever they say is stronger than whatever you got to say. Their manifestations are more important than yours. Their voice and their sounds that they make are louder than yours, and so they have more, oomph behind it. But you can't do that to yourself. You got to be like, I don't care what your position is or what your whatever is. The God in me is the God in me, and it's above all of this. The God in you is above all of this. So like, don't play yourself and don't play me while you do it, because I am but a reflection of you. Feel me? Like, don't do that. Like, don't do that. So it also makes you come at people different too. Like, I'm coming at you, but I'm complimenting you at the same time. So you don't even know how to come back at me. And yeah, that's how we do it. Ashe. Greetings, greetings. Thank you for coming in. We're doing the daily planetary forecast. We just did Jupiter and Saturn. So now we're going to move into Uranus. This morning when we started the day, Uranus was at 6 degrees, 45 latitude in retrograde in Taurus in the ninth house. And tonight at 11:59 p.m., Uranus will still be in Taurus in the ninth house at 6 degrees, 45 latitude, still in retrograde. So Uranus doesn't really move too much. Uranus will actually be in Taurus energy until 2024. So that's what's happening with that. We'll probably be changing the house soon, but we'll definitely be staying in Taurus for a few more years. And Uranus is the planet of individuality, progressiveness, and change. It also is the energy that forces you to face the truth, change the way you do certain things, and all that fun stuff. And Uranus is forcing change and individuality and progressiveness, and that energy of Taurus that causes you to be stubborn and slow to move. And Taurus is also that Venus energy of what? Finances, self-esteem, the things you find yourself attracted to, the things you find pleasure in. So Uranus is causing us to shake up how we obtain and maintain those things. And that's fun and exciting, because aren't we doing that? Aren't we changing the way we obtain our pinnacles? And that's the way a lot of us value ourselves. Money makes the world go around. Green here, green there. Get that bag, right? So we're changing what the bag looks like, right? It's not even like a bag anymore. Now it's some numbers in your phone, and it's not even the same numbers that we're used to seeing. It's not dollars and change anymore, right? Now we're looking at Bitcoin. Now we're looking at gold. Now we have people buying silver. Now we have people just buying stocks. Now we have people, yeah, you could pay me in this, or you could barter. We're bartering now. Some of us aren't even looking at numbers anymore. Some of us are learning how to give without receiving. Some people are just tapping into that part of themselves and building a community around that. And we are all aligning with the people who want to make exchanges the way we want to make exchanges. So again, saying the head is the head and the toe is the toe. There is no right or wrong way to go about this. What's happening is we're infiltrating all different ways simultaneously and making a positive change in all these different avenues at the same time. So it's beautiful that some people are deciding to go into the avenue of stocks, and some people are going to avenue of this and avenue of that and that, because we're all revamping it to be more conscientious of what we're doing while we're doing it. It's just a wave of people that are doing that in all these avenues, and that's beautiful. In addition to us knowing that, because when we get into Metu Netter, I don't know if you guys ever read the Netters, but if you haven't, me and my son did a book club on YouTube. Let's Nobodies. But when you get into the Netters, it talks about our inability to tap into spheres 0 through 6. There's 10 spheres in the tree of life. There's 10 spheres, and so 0 through 6 talks all about spirituality and being in the world and not of it, and being a part of a whole and things like that. And then sphere 8 talks about separation and labeling things. And that's where we're at right now in this Capricorn energy. We're in the energy of Seker. And so that's all about labeling things and seeing the parts and the pieces and stuff, and manifesting things and bringing all the things from those spheres into the physical manifestation form that Capricorn energy brings, the pinnacle, the bag. So we get so caught up in this sphere 8, we're not paying attention to the rest of them. So yes, a head is a head, is a toe is a toe, but do not forget this is all still the same body, you know? Whereas you don't mix to a certain point, like you'll never see a liver cell trying to kick it with a kidney cell to replicate, because that's not what they do and that's not what they're supposed to do. That's not what they're supposed to be, you know? At the same token, they both realize that they both play an imperative role in the same body. Yes, run away from the negative energy. We all coming at each other different. And you have to have a different perspective on things. It doesn't have to be my perspective, but as long as it is not hurting nobody, you're on the right path. So that's what Uranus and Taurus in the ninth house is causing us to do. That ninth house is dealing with your traveling, your philosophy, and education, which is that Sagittarius energy. Again, coming back to that fire energy. So with that, you do find yourself changing how you travel. People are getting their passports. People buying land overseas. People buying land all over America. People, people changing their outlook on traveling in the countries that they thought were like desolate and barren and dangerous. They're just like, fuck it, like I'm just gonna go out there anyway. Or like people are changing their philosophies on how to go about relationships or how to go about their family and things like that. I have not done Iris. Actually, I actually don't. And because you brought that up, I'm going to start doing Iris. Thank you for that. I told people, yes, I am open to the feedback. Um, but yeah, that's Uranus. In a nutshell, that's what it's doing. Neptune. Neptune this morning at 12 a.m. started the day off at 18 degrees 31 latitude in Pisces in the seventh house, and will be ending the day at 18 degrees 32 latitude in Pisces in the seventh house. So Neptune again is another planet that does not move that fast. Kind of stays in the same space and place. And Neptune is all about your subconscious and your dreams, anything beyond the five senses. And Pisces is that intuitive, sensitive energy. Neptune and Pisces go hand in hand, actually. So what you have is, oh, sorry, I was reading a message. So what you have is these two energies all about being inspirational and impressionable and giving and serving. The thing with this is, okay, so the thing with the Pisces energy is Pisces energy can be giving to the point where it's borderline self-sacrificing. Whereas there's some people that like to give because that's their way of relieving their own pain. And you have to be mindful of those people, especially those kind of healers, because if you allow those kind of healers to heal you, you will take on that pain that they're trying to alleviate themselves from in their attempt of alleviating you. I hope that made sense to y'all. uh, a lot of people make good points, whereas everybody's doing tarot cards, everybody's doing spiritualism, etc., etc., and we'll actually get into the true node and our midheaven and all the Gemini energy in a moment. But keep in mind that that energy causes us to realize and slow down how we are obtaining information. Some of us read one book or read one article and then we go out and behave as if we're gurus. And with that being said, with this Neptune and Pisces energy is causing us to tap into that mystic energy of ourselves, that intuitive energy, that emotional energy. When I think of Neptune and Pisces, I think of like silver, like that blue silver color, and the rainbow fish. I think of the rainbow fish and the colors in that book and the kind of vibe that gave you like it's it's shimmery, that shimmer, that blue shimmer type thing going on. And so like you have that kind of energy, but be mindful that mermaids are sirens, and whereas you see all of that shimmer and all that stuff like that, it can be it's not it can be, there will be deceit because all light has shadow. And sometimes the shadow is not intentional. And that's okay. We have some people who are very just ambitious. They're very tapped into that Mars and Aries energy, that three fire energy that's popping off. And they get impatient with their own journey. And you may be that individual that's impatient with your own journey. But be patient. I just literally started doing daily planetary forecasts like a week ago. I've been doing daily planetary forecasts for about 4 years now. I've only been recording them for 2 out of the 4 years, and I've been on this journey of planets for about 10 years. So you can't look at what somebody else is doing and say, oh, I need to do that in a month. You can't do that. That's like me getting up here on YouTube, like I'm finally using this platform with my knowledge and saying, oh, I need to make what other YouTube makers are making in a month. Like, that's not realistic. You can't, just take your time, slow down in the spiritual journey with Neptune and Pisces energy, especially in that the seventh house. So again, we have that seventh heaven number, and that deals with your intimate relationships and all about that Libra energy and fairness, and to the point of being a doormat sometimes and a people pleaser and things like that. Just be mindful of those martyrs out there that are self-sacrificing their own journey to alleviate some of their pain in their attempt to pretend like they could save you from yours. A lot of people out here pretending like they're saving themselves financially, and they're using that that image to make themselves feel better as they give you information to do yours. And you're like, well, why isn't mine working the way yours is working? You look like you're doing da 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 da. Well, a person can only take you as far as they can go. And if they haven't really gotten that far and they're only giving you a massage that they've gotten that far, you're not going to go far. You're only going to go as far as that as they can take you. They can only teach you what they know. You can't squeeze water from a rock, my love. So that is my TED talk for today on Neptune and Pisces. Moving on to Pluto. So Pluto, we started today at 24 degrees, 17 latitude in Capricorn in the fifth house. Tonight we're ending the day still at 24 degrees and 19 latitude, still in Capricorn in the fifth house. Now Pluto is going to be in this Capricorn energy till 2024. Pluto is all about transformation, death and rebirth, destruction and healing, as well as power and secrets. And it's inside that Capricorn energy. And we know Capricorn energy is all about challenges, authority. We talked about this is like the RoboCop energy, all about facing your fears and just facing truth and rebuilding that strong infrastructure on yourself. Thank you. I do go in sometimes. I spiral. I call it spiraling. But yeah, so Pluto is causing us to create a transformation inside of our disciplines and our structures. We're creating transformations in what we have been afraid of and what we considered authority. We're also creating death and destruction and revealing secrets in these spaces and places, right? A lot of people are being considered theorists, but aren't they not exposing secrets of authority figures and people that we put on pedestals, celebrities, people on TV and things like that? It's all over the place, whether it be true or not. You know, some of it is, some of it isn't. It is, it is what it is. You decipher it how you like. And with that being said, there it is an unraveling of people we put on pedestals. It is an unraveling of people we listen to. And that's nice and it's fun to watch. I like to watch things burn a little bit. I won't lie to you guys. The certain things that have been dismantling have been fun to watch, like the way that we've been upholding this economic system, and to watch it seem so asinine and minuscule in this space and place where we learn how great God is despite what great systems and organizations and buildings and infrastructures we create. You know what I'm saying? We are always reminded how small we are, and we are always reminded to remain humble. Hubris has always been the fall of man, and we learn that in every story and every empire story. Hubris is always the fall of man. So we find that being again another fall of us, our hubris. And unfortunately, some people have been very confident in their lack of hygiene. And so now we have another similarity to like a plague and wash your hands, like things of that nature. So you definitely have Pluto in that work, doing the work of us second guessing and looking. And I always think of, see, I watch TV and stuff like that a lot, so I'll make a lot of TV and TV show references. But I think of Space Jam. At the end of Space Jam, when Michael Jordan was like, yo, why y'all be listening to him? And the monsters was like, cause he's bigger than we used to be. And they all look at him like, oh yeah, we're not that little no more. And that's what Pluto is causing us to be like, especially with Pluto is next to the sun right now. The sun is in Capricorn too right now, yeah. Mercury is in Capricorn too right now, yeah. So we're not only do we have our egos rooted in this is making us feel good that we're making these transformations. We're also rooting our logic, that Mercury energy of logic and communication. That's how we're communicating to other people, and we're spreading the word, and we're learning about different infrastructures and different ways to organize ourselves, and we're teaching others, we're relaying new information. We're literally building a ground zero for a new world order, and it doesn't sound so scary when you know who's in charge, and it's us. Isn't that exciting? Like, we're really creating our own little thing out here. That's pretty dope. And we did it. It hasn't even been a full year yet, and we've already just like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're doing now. And we've adapted, and we're and everybody's good, and those who are not good are doing something about it. We're in that manifestation age of Capricorn, and people are using this New Year's energy to be like, all right, come Aries energy, come the summertime when that Cancer Leo energy start popping and that Gemini energy start popping, this, and this, and this, and this is going to be done and completed, and that's what we're doing. We are taking control of our realities. Our reality is not the movie anymore. Nope. But I still like to make my references. The true node. So the true node is all about our over and undeveloped characteristics for fulfillment in our life in this journey. So it's either what we have too much of or not enough of. And right now it's in Gemini energy. So you either have too much of this or not enough of this. And when we tap into the energy, Gemini energy, this is all about us being adaptable and flexible and overextending ourselves. And sometimes, like I said earlier, about us taking like that one piece of information and running off with it and creating textbooks based upon one sentence we read, and that self-sacrificing energy that's sitting up in Neptune. The true note is calling us to slow down. You are not in a race. This is not a sprint. You are not in a race with time. You are not in a race with money. You're not in a race with the government. The universe already knows how everything is going to align, and everything's going to align in the time, as well as yourself. Because no two things can be in the same place at the same time. So that means that eventually your time is going to be in the space and place where it is to be. And with that being said, slow down. Slow down. If you want multiple businesses, you can have multiple businesses. But finish that first business first. And when I say this to y'all, I say this to me too. Oh my gosh, if you guys follow me on Instagram or Facebook or anything, you're like, dang, she do mad stuff. Yeah. You could only imagine what my to-do list be looking like when I start the day. I really had to learn how to be like, you know what, I can't say yes to everything. I can't say yes to everybody. I have to learn how to tell people no without feeling guilty. I had to shake up my Neptune and Pisces energy because on some G shit, I'm a Virgo through and through, Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus. So I know all about the self-sacrificing. I'm all about serving other people. I like to be people pleasing. Like that's how I get off. But yeah, I had to check that self-sacrificing energy because I would overextend myself just to be able to tell everybody yes, and just for everybody to be able to say, "Oh, she came through." No, sometimes I can't come through. Some people are gonna tell you, "Hey, Nika always late," and guess what? Some people gonna tell you, "Hey, Nika she be not showing up," and some people gonna tell you that Nika be showing up all the time, on time. And guess what? All three of them people will be right, and I am not ashamed of it no more. I am no longer obligating myself to do things that I just don't have time to do. And I'm also no longer feeling bad about canceling plans. I used to be sweating and heart palpitations before I send that text like I'm not gonna go. But now I feel like, listen, I got shit to do. I got a business to run, and something happened. I got kids. I have two kids. I got kids that I had to raise, and they're not acting like they're in the energy and space and place for me to go ghost and go do this with you right now. My business is not where I needed to be for me to walk away from it and be in sound mind. I have goals for myself. How many products do I want to make a day? How many products do I want to market and sell a day? How many videos do I want to get done a day? And if I don't get that done, I'm not leaving my house. You know what I'm saying? Those are different disciplines that I have for myself. And so but I still would overextend. I would still cut my stuff short to make sure I go here and to make sure I go there and da 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 da. And now I gotta stop doing that. So that's where I'm at with my Gemini energy. My Mars is also in Gemini. So if you get in tune with your natal chart, if you're not already in tune with your natal chart, I help with that. But my Mars is in Gemini. So I am motivated by multiple things. I'm motivated by group projects. Do not come to me with a group project. I don't know how to say no. That's my addiction. All this shit on the wall, yeah, because I don't know how to sit still. In addition to some of it is painted by other people. But that's me. Always overextending myself. I don't slow down. But yes, during this time, definitely a time to sit down, a jack of all trades, and I'm checking all that. For real. For real. But sometimes it's okay to slow down. It's so many things that I want to do, but I don't have to get them all done in the month of January. It's okay if some things don't get done until next year because I had to perfect my craft in things that are going to get done this year. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we just got to think like that. Like everything don't got to be done right now for you to feel whole. You're not in competition with the next person. Like all right, I'm gonna give you insight. Like my shit was jealousy. One of my shadow works was jealousy. I would try my best not to show it on the outside. Like I'm always cheering for people, but I would be mad. Like I have an idea, and then somebody else do my idea, and I'm like, dang, like why did like I could have did that, and now I'm mad because you over here. I feel like you reaping the benefits of my idea, but that was your idea too. Like I can't get mad that you enacted on the God in you while I was over here twiddling my thumbs when God was talking to me at the same time. Like I can't get mad that that's what you did with it versus what I did with it, and then I can't get mad because no two things can be at the same place at the same time. So when my time came around to where I was finally doing what I wanted to do, I got my shine that was deserved to me. You know what I'm saying? So like your shine is not going to disappear just because you do it next year instead. You know what I'm saying? Like your shine on whatever it is that you do or whatever, inkling or desire you have, if it don't get it in the time that it gets done, the shine is going to come to you. You're not in a race to get that shine. Like let that person have it, and once you built up to where you need to be, trust it's going to come to you. It's not going to be dimmer because you didn't do it last year. It's not going to be smaller and boring. Ain't gonna be nobody throwing no tomatoes at your head because you ain't do it 2 years ago. Like none of that is happening. It's okay. So that's what the true note calls us to do, to get that Gemini energy intact, slow down, take a deep breath so we don't miss any steps. And also work on our communication because we know Gemini is a Mercurian energy, yeah. And so with that Mercurian energy, it's all about logic and communication and exchanging. So it's not just communicating with, outwardly, but also inwardly with ourselves and with our ancestors and with our gods and things of that nature, yeah. So let's tap into how we communicate, slow down in our communication, listen to listen, stop speaking to stop listening to respond. You can tell when people are listening to respond, and it changes the atmosphere of the conversation, right? So let's be mindful when we do that as well. So moving on to the ascendant energy. We have a bunch of little Virgo ascendant babies being born, and I'm mad hype about that because I have a new cousin that was born 3 weeks ago, and she a Virgo ascendant. Woo woo! I love Virgo babies. I am a Virgo baby. Virgo ascendings are actually pretty cool, especially in male form, because I have a brother. I have two brothers that are Virgos actually now. That's what's up. But only my other brother, he's only like 3 or 4. This one is actually an adult, so I see his personality a little bit better. But yes, Virgo males are very strong in those Virgo energies, and sometimes a little too strong. Like this past year, I retracted a lot of Virgo males, and I love them. However, their energy is very, very strong to the point where it's just like, and so being around Virgo ascending men is just like, I don't know if I've ever been around a Virgo ascendant woman, but a man is like, you got the Virgo trait, but it's at like a nice level. Like, it's not annoying. Like, it fits me. It's just enough to where you're not on my nerves because it's too much like me, just enough. And you also pay attention, and I like that. That's fun. Anyway, a bunch of beautiful Virgo ascending babies in the second house being born. This morning we started off the day at 29 degrees, 22 latitude, and retrograde Virgo in the second house. So tonight we'll be ending the day at 29 degrees, 45 latitude, and retrograde in Virgo in the second house. So again, ascending doesn't move too much, but we do see that the ascending is about to move into the next zodiac energy because we're at 29 degrees, right? So the ascendant energy is all about your personality, your first impression, the mask you wear, your expectations of other people, as well as your expectations of yourself. Like, what I expect people to expect this of me, so I expect this of other people. You know what I'm saying? That kind of energy. And this is all about the second house is all about your personal finances. This is the Taurus energy of your personal finances, how you obtain them, how you maintain them, love, your self esteem. Again, we're coming back to that self esteem energy. And all that fun stuff, value and attraction and love and finances. And Virgo energy is all about being analytical and serving. So coming back to that servitude energy, you find yourself wanting to be of service to other people. Again, be mindful, don't be self sacrificing in your servitude. Slow down in your knowledge before you go to teach. You will be feeling impatient with all that fire energy inside of you, and that's great. That means that you really on the path and you really on the path of getting done what you want to get done. At the same token, don't be so quick to get on that podium before you are ready. Stay a student for a while. That's like childhood. Like you got the rest of your life to be an adult. You only got this little bit of time to be a child. So be a child. So enjoy that little bit of time you got to be that student. Because once you a teacher, it's like you're still a student, but majority of the time that mask is saying teacher. You know what I'm saying? When you walk outside, you're saying teacher on you all day long. Even around people that could be your teacher, you still have that embodiment of teacher on you. So just be mindful of that. You will feel yourself wanting to be in more service of others, wanting to be in more organizations that are of service to others, maybe wanting to change your work around being of service of others. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like a job. It could be like a hobby. It could be just the kind of people you find yourself socializing with. Like you want to be around more earthy people that grow food and exchange it, or people that create community organizations and give back. And maybe you want to and put that in your children, or just put certain things in place that are of service to yourself, your family, other people, strangers, anything. You're just feeling that about yourself. Be mindful of being of overthinking. Again, tapping into what the true note tells you about Gemini energy. Overthinking and taking on too much, as well as over worrying about whatever it is that you are in a race with and whoever it is that you're in competition with. None of that exists. So just be mindful of all of those things, because we know that's Virgo energy at its finest. That worrying and overthinking. Getting into your midheaven. So midheaven is all about your most visible achievements in society and your accomplishments and your responsibilities. We started the day at 29 degrees 17 latitude in Gemini in the 11th house. And we'll be ending the day still at 29 degrees at 42 latitude in Gemini, still in the 11th house. So we're pretty much in the same energy all day. That energy of being versatile, flexible, all about the Mercurian communication, doing things with others. Hey, Bun. All about doing things with other people, all about, everybody wants an opinion. Nobody's really trying to do anything by themselves right now. It feels good to do things with a community once you're building and communicating with a community. Right now, everybody's kind of going that route and wanting to do that as people coming together. You can also look at that. I know a lot of readers like to tune into what's happened to love and romance. A lot of people like to know about love and romance in their life. And when you get into this energy, you can tap into that as well, with the Venus energy being all fired up and stuff like that. How you obtain like love and things you find pleasure in, or people and your preference type, you find yourself more confident in obtaining those pleasures. And the midheaven just got kind of like solidifies the success in obtaining said pleasure at this moment, because success is coming in groups. We know that Gemini is all about the twins, and that's people being grouped together. You're not doing anything about by yourself. If you are a lone wolf and you're like, oh, I like to do stuff by myself and I'm at the top and I'm lonely up here and da 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 da, it's time for you to get off that podium and humble yourself. It's time to humble yourself and bring yourself down a couple of notches, because it is time to create a community and come together and align. As you start to come into yourself and speak your truth, as you start to break down what Capricorn has built up last season, we were going back and forth with Jupiter and Saturn in that Capricorn energy, and now we just got this rebellious energy of Aquarius on those planets. And as we're like going back and forth with that energy, and you come into your confidence energy of that fifth house, I'm telling you, man, like tap into all that and you'll be able to come forth into this Gemini energy of being able to communicate your things, being able to seek projects all the way through before you hop onto your next one, and not feeling jealous of the next person because you're so grounded in yourself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that we seek pleasure in as being first. A lot of us don't realize we've been like raised in competition. Like, have we not in school? There could only be so many people that could have certain privileges and certain accolades, right? We were in competition for those awards and things like that. So that created something in us. And that is it has created like a foundation in how we obtain pleasure in ourselves, how we measure our self-esteem. It's in how much we can obtain, how many accolades can you obtain? Can you get the big guy to create a sound of recognition for you? If you can get the boss to make a sound of recognition for you, that makes everybody go, and it's the sound of jealousy, and it's the sound of I want to be you. We love sounds, don't we? We don't give sounds enough credit, but we love sounds. We evolve around sounds. Yeah, go ahead. You can open it. We evolve around sounds. So, yeah, Midheaven and Gemini calls us to get up off that high horse. You don't have to do things by yourself, and it's definitely not the time to. So don't. And that is how you're going to reach success, because that 11th house is all about that humanitarian house and purpose and revolutionary ideas and just coming back to the community. So it is time to be all about that community and coming together and things like that. So Lilith, we started off the day at 24 degrees 55 latitude in Taurus in the 10th house. And we're ending the day off at 29 degrees 51 latitude in Taurus in the 10th house. So we're still in the same energy, same house. Lilith is all about your vulnerabilities and your fantasies, your temper, your trigger, and your repressed, the things you repress about yourself that you feel like society doesn't really want to see you express. You kind of get embarrassed when you see it come out a little bit. Right now it's in that Taurus energy. So it is in that energy rooted in how we obtain things. Maybe how you obtain your sensuality and what makes you happy and what makes you passionate and stuff like that. You've been kind of like keeping it to yourself a little bit. Maybe you've been doing it in a traditional way. It's time to shake it up a little bit. It's time to shake up that Taurus energy, because not only do we have Lilith in the Taurus telling us like it's time to be vulnerable, it's time to tap into your fantasies and that sensual side of yourself. You also have Uranus in Taurus right now too, saying, "Hey, it's time to change some things and be progressive and switch it up and face some truths about yourself." Have you been facing truths about yourself? Have you been doing that shadow work? Because if you haven't, you need to start. And we definitely have Uranus and Lilith chilling in the same zodiac energy of that Taurus energy, that energy that y'all be holding near and dear to your heart, that tells you guys you hate change. And you don't like it when things change, and you don't like it when you have to go out of your routine, and you like to go straight home after work. And if you go to the store, that's the only store you're going to before you go in the house. And once you take off your bra, you're not going back outside. No. Lilith and Uranus said no. Take your ass outside. We're going to shake that up. You're not going to hold on to that mentality. You're not going to keep doing that stuff, because what is that stuff doing for you? All the stuff that you've been repressing about yourself, and you feel like your spirit has been, you're starting to get mad at yourself, right? I remember last year, I literally started getting mad at myself because, like, I wasn't me. I wasn't being myself. Like, I wasn't saying the things that I wanted to say. Like, people say stuff to me, and my response would be in my head. And when outside, I'd just be like, that's what's up. But, like, I started getting mad at myself. Like, I would feel anger in my spirit all day long because I didn't say what I was supposed to say. I didn't show the emotion I was supposed to show. I'm just repressing myself all day long because I'm like, well, if I say this, they ain't going like that, or they might think this, or they might think that. Listen, I'm a flirt. I like to flirt. I like to talk to people. I like attention. I love talking to strangers. It does something to me. I love performing on stage. I like it when people laugh at my jokes. I love it when people love my music. I love it when people buy my jewelry and my art. I love compliments. Do you know how many years I lived repressing that about myself, thinking, oh, well, I shouldn't say that because that make me look a kind of way, or people think that I'm needy and I need attention, and I don't want to keep posting all day online because people think that I got issues and I don't want, nah, fuck these people, bro. They're not living my life. this is what I like to do. And guess what? Because I stand in my truth and I'm doing what I like to do, people are listening to my music by the tons. People are singing my rhymes. People are coming to my events that I'm throwing. I can make money off of myself now. That's a dream of mine. I can homeschool my kids now without worrying about how I'm going to pay my bills. I'm to the point now where I'm building a community of people that look at me finally being me, and say, hey, I like this girl. And they want to build with me. So I'm building with like minded people now because I walked in my truth. And now I'm walking with people who are walking in their truth, and we're aligned and we're creating a unit together. And that's what happens. That's that's what happens when you just like let go and stop holding on to like the reasons you have in your head to repress yourself, to stop yourself from doing shit like, oh, how I'm gonna pay my rent, or how I'm gonna do this, or I can't do that, that's not realistic, or what are my people gonna think, what are my friends gonna think, what are my family gonna think, like, oh well, this person gonna have all this to say because for a period of time I might not have some paychecks or whatever, like, fuck these people, man. I tell that to my sons all the time, especially my oldest, because he has a history of being picked on in school because, you know, he just thinks different, he moves different, and ain't nothing wrong with it. And I be telling him all the time, fuck these kids. Like, they don't know what you know. They not you. They're not in your body. You gotta love yourself. You have to love yourself. And once you love yourself, the way you align after that is astounding. It's so crazy how hard and easy it is at the same time, and how quickly everything aligns once you do that. It's like, it's scary a little bit. Like, you start questioning, like, especially if you got my toxicity be like, what's the catch? Like, when y'all gonna come out and say, psych, take it back, or throw it in my face what you did for me? Like, I've been waiting for shit like that to happen. But no, it doesn't happen. Like, I'm aligned. And that's beautiful. And you could do it too. Tap into that Lilith and tap into the Uranus. And definitely go on your chart. Go on your natal chart. Find out where your Uranus energy is in. And that's going to tell you where you need to seek truth at, where you need to be progressive at. And then when you see the house, it'll show you what house that is being affected by you not seeking truth and being in your true self. And then find your Lilith and see what energy you have been repressing and where your triggers are and things like that. And see how like Uranus and Taurus and Lilith and Taurus are calling you to, you know, be progressive and unsuppress yourself in those areas. So it's all about, I look at it as like little atoms, and the planets are like the protons and neutrons around it, and just seeing how they come together. Like, oh, this valence electron with this one, and oh, I look at it like that, and so that's what helps me see like, oh, okay, so this and this don't mix because this is fire and this is water, and so boom, or this and this don't mix because this is a cardinal energy and it's fire, and this is a cardinal energy. And you can also think about it like fucking Pokemon too. Like, that's cool too. You could definitely like break it down like that, especially if you put numerology in it too, and the letters and all that fun stuff. Yeah, you can get it. You can get some Pokemon cards rocking. All right, let's move on. Um, Chiron is at 5 degrees, 5 latitude in Aries in the eighth house. And tonight at 11:59 p.m., it'll remain at 5 degrees, 8 latitude in Aries in the eighth house. So we don't really move. Chiron is all about your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial health. It's health on all levels, how you maintain the equilibrium of said house. And it's all about what you consider as strengths versus your wounds, and vice versa. Some things we see as strengths are not strengths. Some of them are wounds, and vice versa. So with this is so with this. Oh, hi, young Ghana. I'm sorry. I'm not even. I'm trying to look at everything at the same time. Happy birthday. So with this in Aries energy, again, we find ourselves tapping into fire energy. Are you like pausing me? Okay, so we see them tapping into fire energy, right? And this is the energy that we were tapping into before, like with Venus and Sagittarius and Mars in energy, Mars in Aries. So we find ourselves like we have a wellness in this energy of being courageous and being motivated and being energized and things like that, right? That's where our health and our wellness is is. But like if it's a strength, okay, so for some of you guys see that fire energy about you as a strength. And it's only a strength if it's at an equilibrium. It's a strength if it's at an equilibrium. If you're utilizing it correctly, you're tapping into that warrior energy. You're learning how to defend yourself. You're educating yourself on how to defend yourself on different levels, financially, spiritually, mentally, on a justice level, on every level, right? You're motivating. You're being constructive with that energy, things of that nature. Now, it can be a weakness if it's not at an equilibrium. If you're out here picking fights with people, if you out here just yelling and for the people, I hate to get into like the protest stuff because it's so touchy, and I feel like I have to be so specific in my words so nobody gets upset. But when I speak about the protest at an imbalanced Aries energy, if you're one of those people that's out there with no direction, you don't know who you're protesting to, you for, within, you don't have a list of demands and you don't know who to give that list of demands to, like things of that nature. Like if you have no direction and you just out there yelling and shouting, that's a sign of an imbalance in Aries energy. You're just out there with that aggressive energy. It has no direction. It's not organized. It has like, why are you there? What is your purpose? It has no purpose. It that energy, when used correctly, when organized, when directed, you good. When it's not, you're at an imbalance and you just out here having a temper tantrum, and that's exactly what it looks like, a temper tantrum. And temper tantrums are never respected. So I've never seen a respected temper tantrum at all. So like just be mindful. And then with that energy sitting in the eighth house, that causes us to make a transformation in that house, right? Yes. It's telling us that we need to make a transformation in that house. Yes. So I be like thinking about us on a level of Avatar a little bit too, because we have the indigenous people. I do think of the indigenous people as like the water benders and so on and so forth, because we are quiet to ourselves. Actually, more so earth benders, but get where I'm going with this. Right now, we like been fire, and I say we've been fire because think about like the technology we've been using. All the technology we use needs heat. It creates heat. All of our technology creates heat. You put a whole bunch of technology in one room and turn it on, it's gonna get hot in there after a while. The cars, you turn on your ignition, it's like a fire. We got gas and oil and all these things. Like everything is fire. And fire destroys. Fire is destructive. Fire burns. Fire, whatever. And that's the technology we've been using. That's the mentality we've been having. We have a problem with somebody, I'm gonna smack the shit out of you. I got a problem with you, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna be aggressive in my words. I'm gonna raise my voice. And remember how I was talking earlier when I was like, listen, don't do me like that. Don't talk to me like that because you don't recognize God in you. You gonna talk to me any kind of way. See how I can talk to you to where like you could tell I'm not fucking playing with you, but I'm still like complimenting you at the same time and letting you know who you are. It changes the way you approach people. You do have to tap into that energy and find like an equilibrium for it to be a strength. Otherwise, you just out here looking crazy. And that eighth energy, that eighth house energy of Scorpio energy of transformations is calling us to find a depth to it. We have to find a depth to this. Even as a country, we're like the most influential country in the world. And what kind of TV shows do we watch? What kind of movies do we watch? Death, destruction, war, people getting shot up and beat on and kidnapped. It's a bunch of fire. It's a bunch of fire and warrior Aries energy. That's all we watch all day. What kind of music we listen to? Or I like to listen to Schoolboy Q. Schoolboy Q make me feel like I sell drugs and somebody about to get shot in the face. Sometimes I like to sprinkle a little Jada Kiss on there, but every now, but most of the time, I do get in my bag. I like to listen. Well, I ain't gonna hold you. I listen to myself. I listen to myself a good 80% of the time. I also listen to Free Soul and Lava God. We're all in a little playlist, and I have all my conscientious artists intertwined with that, some African jazz, womp womp womp. But on a larger scale, I will pop in. I like my hip hop. I like, I like my aggressive music. And that's what we listen to as a whole. That's what we watch as a whole. We are very tapped into the Aries energy. Okay. I get it. Y'all like to fight. Y'all can fight. Y'all know how to make weapons. Y'all know how to kill people. Okay, do y'all know how to love though? Because that's the energy that we need to come into. We got all this fire energy and we got all of this air energy of Aquarius blowing on the fire energy we got going on. And while all of that is happening, for some of you guys who are not tapped into the God in you and don't trust the God in you and don't trust the God in others and are not aligned, you are going to be scared. You are going to be scared. You are going to feel like things are happening to you. You're going to feel helpless and all and depressed and all those and anxious and all those feelings that people feel when they are not in tune and aligned and grounded. You're going to feel like you're being swept up in the wind, swept up in the fire, because that's the energy that's going to be going on right now. It's going to be a big ass fire, and it's going to keep getting bigger as we get further and further into this air energy, and eventually it's not. But we have to go through it to get to the other side, and that's what we're doing right now. And you're gonna feel it, especially when we get into whatever is happening. What on the 20th with the government and the presidents and stuff. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't watch news. I don't watch TV and stuff like that anymore. I it's I really don't care about any news source. I feel like they all do what they do, and I honestly feel like if you turn the TV off, if you turn those things off, my reality is not affected. Now, if one day some Holocaust shit pop off, then that's what happened. If I get on that train and don't come back, then that's what happens. But I trust in the God in me, and I probably wouldn't get on the train to begin with. I'd probably be like, oh, gotta go. I've seen this before in a movie. I read this in books before. I don't need to watch this on the news to know what it is. But like that's just where I'm at. And if you're on a different page, on a different plane, then more respect to you. You're allowed. But yeah, that's what it is. So now we're moving on. Ceres. Ceres, we started off the day at 12 degrees, 58 latitude in Pisces in the 7th house. And we'll be ending the day at 13 degrees, 18 latitude in Pisces in 7th house. And Ceres deals with our health, nutrition, agriculture, our fertility, how we deal with loss and grief, how we interact with parents, how we interact with children, how they interact with us. And right now that energy is in Pisces was all about intuitive and being emotional and going into yourselves. So we're definitely going into ourselves and our inner child and dealing with our health and changing how we treat ourselves. And we're more emotionally tied to it, right? Okay, as above, so is below. That's what's going on in the planet. Let's think about it on a below sense. On a below sense, a lot of us dealt with COVID in many different ways this past year. I dealt with it in a way that I was working in healthcare when it first started. So I've seen a lot of people die firsthand. And even before COVID even happened, just working in a rehab center and seeing how people are treated and seeing how your lifestyle really affects how people treat you when you're older. Like, okay, you go ahead and, oh, I love myself and I love all my pounds and da da da. All right, you are beautiful. You're absolutely right. And not everybody's built the same. But when you are in your 80s and you need three people to lift you and you need a Hoyer lift and all that stuff like that, keep that same energy. Like, you feel me? Like, it's logic. You have to be logical as well. Like, you can be like confident and seek passion, and that ties into that Taurus energy, right? Changing up like how we seek pleasure and stuff like that with food. A lot of us seeking pleasure in food. We're changing the way we seek pleasure or the kind of pleasures we're seeking in food, right? Especially as we're changing our diets. A lot of people are changing the way they eat and what they eat and how they eat and what times they eat and what season they eat with things and how they combine their foods, and all that is essential, yeah. So like we're changing the way we indulge in these pleasures, and they're also changing our self-esteem a little bit. Your self-esteem is not longer rooted in the fact that, oh, all day long I waited on this burger and them fries. Now it's rooted in oh well, like look, I had like salads and fruit today. Can I have this? Yeah, that's yours. Oh, I had salad and fruit today. Like, your self-esteem, the way you speak about things, all that stuff changes bit by bit. And it's beautiful, yeah? So that's what Ceres and Pisces in that 7th house of relationships and how important things are, and that Libra energy of balance and pleasing and, things like that is definitely causing us to, take a step back and think about, our plants and our interaction with said plants, whether it be medicine and nutrition and our health. And a lot of us have lost. We did lose this year too, and so that intertwines. This beautiful thing. So getting into Pallas. Pallas, we started off at 8 degrees, 53 latitude in Aquarius in the sixth house. And we'll be ending the day off at 9 degrees, 14 latitude in Aquarius in the sixth house. So Pallas doesn't really move either. We're still in Aquarius in the sixth house. And this is aligned with Saturn and Jupiter, yeah? So Pallas is all about logic and reasoning and your intellect. So we have this energy of logic and reasoning within the energy of generosity and law and tolerance and chivalry, and connected with the energy of authority and self-discipline and restrictions and stuff like that. So we're finding a new logic and reasoning in all of this, yeah, because all of it is in that rebellious, adventurous, going outward social energy of Aquarius, blowing air on all of these things. And when you blow air, you blow the dust out and you come back anew, because and then it's in that sixth house of your daily routine. So yeah, we're really shaking things up. We're really shaking things up in our authority this year. Be I'm excited because all of us have all different methods. Like I said before, you have some people that are infiltrating politics and like, you know what, I'm going to go for these positions in politics and I'm going to shake things up from that level. Then you have some people infiltrating from the business standpoint, like, oh, well, we're about to start owning businesses and we're about to start running this and learning how to run businesses and get this business credit. Some of us are going into stocks and trading and trading currencies, and that's changing the wave of the way currencies are being traded. It's also, of course, every time the masses get into something, here comes the companies up top like IRS and things of that nature. The acronyms come down and say, oh well, now we found a new way to regulate you, and that's the back and forth with the Capricorn energy, is it not? Last year we dealt with that a lot with Jupiter and Saturn and Capricorn energy. At one point in time, what was it, October, November, we had about 5 planets in Capricorn energy, and we were dealing with a huge crackdown in law and order as we came back into flu season. And that is now slowly turning into COVID season instead of flu season and cold season. So, like, we're changing our vocabulary, and in that they're changing the laws around, and in that people are adapting to that in their own way as we create our own new world orders. And we all have different orders that we're tapping into. It depends on which walk of life you want to go into. But that's what Aquarius is causing us to do right now. A lot of us are being pulled into a whole new walk of life we didn't even know we would be in, because we lost our job or we lost our homes or we lost family members we never thought we'd lose. Or, just anything and everything has been happening. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we're getting pulled into new journeys, whether we like it or not. The Aquarius energy is blowing us in different directions if we want to or not. We spent all last year with respiratory issues and talking about how we can't breathe and talking about 5G doing things to the air. And now we're in this air energy where we're just being blown away, yeah? And that's fun. Juno. Juno, we started the day off at 5 degrees, 14 latitude in Sagittarius in the fourth house. And we'll be ending the day at 5 degrees, 32 latitude in Sagittarius in the fourth house. So we're staying in that same energy. Juno is all about talents in the arts, wisdom, as well as defense. And we got it in that fire energy of Sagittarius, which is all about being generous and chivalrous and optimistic and out there and just expansion and abundance. But it can also be a bit impatient and getting things done and getting results, yeah. So we have that energy directed towards our I was right. Directed towards our home and family and our nurturing spaces. So it's all about that Cancer energy. So we find ourselves wanting to spend our wisdom. So last year we spent a lot of energy gathering information. We spent a lot of time last year. A lot of us were learning how to clean up credit and teaching people. A lot of us were learning how to take on new business ventures, take on business credit, get into real estate. A lot of us were learning about a lot of things and gathering a lot of information and exchanging it. And we did it at such a fast rate. So this year, we are applying said knowledge. This year is the year of application. Yeah. We're being blown into the wind, and being blown into the wind requires movement. So we're moving. We're getting things done. We're going into it. So this is the year of application. We are applying the things that we learned. And we're definitely doing it first and foremost in our nurturing spaces in our homes. We're applying it to our children. We're bringing the information back to our kids, our siblings, our family members. Like, hey, y'all got to get on these business ventures. I want to see all of us win. Hey, we all need to go get some land. Oh, we need to all invest in this together. We all need to do this together. It's time to have these kind of conversations. And we did that during the holidays at the round tables, yeah. And now we're coming out of the holidays in a new spirit, and we're starting to have those conversations. It may not always be with blood relatives. It could be with communities that you've just been building a long time. So moving into Vesta, today we started the day at 20 degrees 31 latitude in Virgo in the second house, and we'll be ending the day at 11:59 at 20 degrees 38 latitude in Virgo in the second house. So again, another energy in Virgo in the second house. Vesta is all about your passion and where your fire is. And right now it's in that analytical, serving Virgo energy. Again, coming back to that people pleasing energy and all about that second house of personal finances, material possessions, and how you obtain your self esteem. So our fire is all about serving, being in control, being authority, being in control without telling people what to do. We don't really like to tell people to do. We don't want to be seen in that light as bossy, but still want to be in the space and place to move the pawns, right? So we are all in control about how we obtain our personal finances, how we seek our pleasures and things like that. And right now, that's where our motivation is. That's where our fire is in. It's in all about obtaining said materials in a different way, in a different light, renovating what we consider things that we want, renovating what we even consider a desire. You know what I mean? A desire versus a need and things of that nature. So we're really like transforming ourselves, and it's very very heavy with all of with Uranus and Lilith and Taurus and Pluto and Capricorn and Jupiter and Saturn and Aquarius. We have a lot of rebellious energy going on, a lot of energy that's causing us to behave in different ways that we wouldn't normally behave, but it's a beautiful thing. Be mindful of the air all over the fire this season, especially this month, as we walk into this new year on different levels all month long. It'll be various new years depending upon your culture. Be mindful of overextending yourself and being self-sacrificial as you try to please others and try to hurry up and become a part of a community. You are not in a race with these communities. You're not in a race with these other businesses. You're not in a race with these people who are in the light because they built months ago and or years ago and they're finally getting the light and you're just building now. It's okay. Be present and be patient. All is well in the 100 Acre Wood. And that is my planetary forecast for today, January 4th, 2021. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I really enjoyed speaking to you all. Thank you all for tuning in. Please share with everyone, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Tomorrow it will be earlier than this. I am in the process of renovating my schedule again because school started back up, and I still haven't fully removed my children from school, and that's on my to-do list, and that's what we're doing. But in the meantime, this is what's happening. So I love you guys, and I'm out. I have to do some teams.